Hey everyone, welcome to Baka-Talk. On today's episode, we have lots of cool things to talk about. Like, what are we talking about?
We're talking about vending machine isekai. We're talking about Goblin Slayer. We're talking about a bunch of other stuff in Nerd Dump. And JoJo.
And how to get your best tax deductions.
You're talking about that. I still can't figure out my own taxes. Anyways, so welcome back to Talk. Let's jump in. So, we're talking about... What do we want to talk about first? I want to talk about what Ramen Cat's been watching.
What?
Yes.
Why me?
Because I'm interested to hear what Frieren Beyond Journey's End is like.
Okay, so yeah, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, if I'm saying that right, because her name sounds really weird even in the anime.
Is that even her name?
Yes, that is her name.
Dang.
Anywho.
She must have been bullied as a child.
No, I feel like she was the bully.
Oh.
Anyways, it's the story circles around her, and she was with a band of adventurers that kill a demon king.
Okay.
And basically, in short, she doesn't age at all, or she ages like ultra slowly.
Yeah, because she's an elf, right?
Yeah. And it's for the first little bit. I'm not entirely caught up with it yet. I'm like one episode behind.
Gotcha.
It's basically her kind of not really understanding the fact that time passes differently for everyone, because the fact that like she looks at like 10 years as like, oh, I'll be right back type time.
Oh.
Like to her, 10 minutes is nothing, or not 10 minutes, 10 years is nothing.
Okay.
So it's like at the very beginning, when like the heroes are coming back and they're celebrating, they're watching what's called like the era or the era change or whatever, which is like this like falling stars thing. And she's like, oh yeah, I know a better place to see these. And everyone's like, well, isn't that like 50 years from now? And she's like, oh, it's not that long. And when they finally get to see it, like when they all get back together, like the rest of the party's all old.
Oh.
And that's kind of dealing with her slowly realizing like that, because like through the last few episodes, it's been like different party members passing away of like old age and stuff. And
Okay, gotcha.
she ends up like taking on this apprentice that she somewhat ends up kind of raising, who's like a really powerful mage. She's a mage too. She just wanders around just collecting spells just for the sake of collecting them. I don't know why. They haven't really iterated quite yet on why.
Yeah.
It's a really chill show. The first couple episodes were, to me, kind of downers, but after that, it's just kind of gotten relaxing and just kind of the characters kind of learning to, or trying to learn to understand like mortality a little bit. It's very much in the idea of, to me, of like a little kid not understanding why old people die.
That makes sense.
Like,
yes, like she's basically a kid.
Well, no, she's like super mature, but she's like really cold and everything. Like,
okay.
she just doesn't understand like time, basically.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. So all I've heard about this anime, because I've been trying to not be spoiled on it at all, is it's just a super sad show.
Not really. I mean, it's somber.
Okay.
The first few episodes are very somber because it's like the one character, he passes away, and I'm pretty sure that she had feelings for him, but he was like, when he was young, was like a really cocky adventurer.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing too that kind of makes it hit harder is they didn't just travel for a little stint. They traveled for like 10 years before they like defeated like the Demon King.
Gotcha.
So like her thing is one of her things that she also has a hard time with is everyone around her paid attention to the little details of like things that she liked and didn't like and stuff like that. And she always felt like she never got to know anyone because, again, with the not really having
like the time difference,
time difference, she never took the time to understand everyone around her. So
that is actually a really interesting way of like doing storytelling, because like Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of fantasy. Basically every fantasy thing, elves just age differently.
Yeah.
But they never talk about it like that.
There is a thing in Lord of the Rings, at least in Rings of Power, one of the things is Elrond like was friends with a dwarf.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't see him for like 20 years or something. And the dwarf mentions like, to you it's like no time, but to me it's like half of my lifetime or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it was kind of I think it's in the books too, maybe, but it was in Rings of Power a little bit. Just
Okay.
like cool concept.
That is cool, and that it sounds like this show's all about that, which is gonna be just pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's somber in the sense of it's like no one so far has like died tragically or anything. Everyone's had like these super full lives. You know,
Yeah.
like one character's revered all over as like the grand hero. Another character that just passed away in like the last couple episodes. He was like the bishop of like the holy city. Like he like had his life, and then he found an orphan and started raising her, and then he like had her start look after the
Yeah.
orphan.
Okay. And so it sounds like it's not really a show that needs people to die tragically, because like
No,
just the way her life's gonna go, they're just gonna pass away way too quickly for what
yeah,
it
and
is.
the way the pacing the episodes go will just be like they mark like, oh yeah, this is 36 years after the death of this hero. Oh, this is 28 years after the death of this person. So it's
Oh
like
wow.
there's just gaps, or like they'll like go to her and her apprentice will go to a village,
Yeah.
and then it will be like, oh yeah, you've been here for like 6 months. It's just like every little scene jump is almost a time skip.
Yeah. This is gonna be really interesting. I wonder if because I know this was a manga. I think it was finished. I wonder if the later parts of the manga, like it shows how the world's even changing around her. Do they show any of that?
Yeah, they
or-
do a little bit, because there's in the episode I just finished, not for spoilers, but just kind of an example of it. She goes to fight this demon that they couldn't beat before.
Yeah.
And she just sealed it in stone.
Mhm.
And she takes her apprentice and they head there and this demon was like so powerful he would just kill people like on the spot.
Oh wow.
And it's 80 years since that's happened
Yeah.
now. And when she like undoes the seal and goes to fight him, like his magic is known to like defense magic couldn't break through it.
Yeah.
But in that time, his magic is now just the basic offensive magic.
Oh.
And like spells have been designed by humans just completely around like how to defend against offensive magic. So he's just reduced to basically just like magic missile type attack.
That's interesting. I was thinking more along the lines of like the world like gaining technology and stuff.
No, it's
I wasn't
still
even thinking about like the
medieval,
way like magic would develop.
magic
That's kind of a cool
advances.
thing.
but
That is cool.
everything is still just kind of medieval
Yeah.
fantasy. Like you see, like when she comes back to the one city where like the whole party split, it's grown, it's gotten bigger and stuff.
But it's not like they have like lights or
no,
like
no,
I don't know, like the Iron Era is coming where they're gonna have stuff like that type of thing.
no. The most you see of time passing is like she's retracing the steps of like her like time with like the group.
Yeah.
So like there'll be characters that she'll be like, oh yeah, I remember you now. That will like kind of go back to showing when that person was like a child when she
Gotcha.
met them.
That does sound. I don't know. You say it's kind of relaxing and not so much sad, but that sounds like a
It's-
very sad concept.
Yeah.
It's not okay. I guess in a way it's set. It's more. I don't know what the right. It makes you realize you should probably appreciate time with the people that you have, because time passes differently for you. You might not feel like it's going fast for you, but it's probably blazing by for them.
Yeah, I feel that. That's definitely something I'm sure a lot of people have to deal with. So
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
cool.
like I like it so far. It's not an action anime by any means. The first little bit of I guess action was like the little short thing with the demon. She's like zap. She has her apprentice throw up a shield and then she's just like railgun dead.
dang. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be action just because it's fantasy.
Yeah,
I'd rather
no.
see a.
I also like this because it's not doing, oh, look at the level of this thing. and
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
And, like there's no references to anything like that.
That's kind of why I like shows like Mushoku Tensei or Mashoko Tensei. Like it's not like an MMO video game. It's just
Yeah.
like
A fantasy.
yeah, it's a fantasy where people are learning spell. Like you're talking about like the level of a spell, like how much it's developed over the ages, and that's very much how like jobless reincarnation is like.
Yeah, I think the closest in this that they ever talked that made it sound like it and it really wasn't was just basically your like strength of mana is how much you focus into it.
Yeah.
Which
Makes
is more
sense.
like just kind of general just fantasy.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
I plan on watching it. It's just I've been catching up on all the other shows that I was supposed to catch up on, and then for some reason just didn't.
That was my one new anime for the season.
I want to watch this one, and of course Goblin Slayer.
Yeah.
So what else have you been watching besides for Beyond Journey's End?
Yeah, Ramen Cat.
I started
Yeah.
watching because
Yeah.
it popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, isn't it? We're asking you, Weez.
Yeah.
Oh, I always watch things. You never watch things.
That's a
I
fair
know.
point.
I play things and rant at things.
I like ranting at things. Mostly my friends.
This is
I-
the whole Baka-Talk anime corner. It's so nice. It's not just me.
Get out of here.
Eh.
There's not enough space.
I also started watching a show, and normally I say that I hate them, but I started watching Faraway Paladin.
Yeah,
It's gonna
East
end
Side.
That's an
horribly.
isekai?
Yes, very lightly though.
How?
It's basically so this baby is dropped off in this abandoned temple and like abandoned city. But he actually like there's not a whole lot of detail. He like died and ended up like reincarnated into this world.
Oh, kind of like a jobless reincarnation.
I guess I've never seen that.
That's how it happens. Like
But-
he gets hit by a bus,
Yeah.
and then his first, like the first scene in the new world is him literally coming out of his mom.
Oh, you don't see how this character died. You see a
Oh,
little vague thing of him holding an urn and him laying on a bed because he was a shut-in. That's all you know about
Oh,
his previous life.
Okay.
But
Cool.
he when he's reborn into this world, he is found by a mummy priestess, a skeleton warrior, and a old ghost wizard.
Nice.
huh?
And they like
Spooky, scared skeletons much?
and they take him and raise him. And like they're not evil or anything.
As what a mummy priestess and skeletal warrior would do.
Yeah, pretty much. You find out why they do
Okay.
eventually. But you find out like this world is kind of locked in like this conflict of there was a demon god or like the god of hell.
Yeah.
That decided he was going to wipe out humans. So he started a invasion, and then there's like a whole bunch of different gods. Like gods play a big part in this.
Mhm.
And then there was this god called Stagnus, which is like the god of the undead. Bargained
Okay.
with these champions that he would help them defeat the demon lord or like the god of demons in trade if they would serve him. So like they betrayed all their gods and became undead.
Oh,
Mm.
So like they're like super uber strong undead,
yeah.
but their job is like keep the god of demons locked away below like the city.
Okay.
But they find this baby and they start raising him because like essentially outside of being undead, they're still human.
Yeah.
So like the skeleton, his name's Blood. He's basically the main character whose name is William. He's William's dad basically. And
Okay.
he teaches him like all the combat stuff
Yeah.
and things like that. I don't remember. Oh, Mary is his mother, who's the mummy priestess.
That's ironic.
And then Gus is the wizard.
Oh, because he's a ghost.
No, I don't know why, because it's like his full title is like he's the wandering sage.
But Gust.
Yeah, Gus.
Okay.
So like Mary teaches him like teaches William like all the little small things of life of like gardening and just normal just things.
Wait, she's the priestess, so wouldn't she be the
Nope,
wizard?
Gus teaches him magic because he's a wizard.
Oh, he's a wizard. Oh,
So
okay.
he is like William's grandpa
Okay.
because he's the grouchy one
Yeah.
of the group.
This sounds sick.
And so it's the first few episodes because I'm not very far into it is William growing up and like he ends up becoming like of course in like an isekai like a phenomenal swordsman and a magic user, but at least they do this of he learned. It took him 15 years, from being a baby to now to learn everything, and he's still learning stuff. But basically they're trying to teach him to like become the best person that he can. And then it's like in that world, when you turn 15, you're considered an adult. So you have
Yeah.
to strike it out on your own.
Okay.
And it's basically just goes of him just being a paladin. Like he just goes out to try to do good. So then like just basically purging demons out from around the world.
That's cool.
They made a little Doomslayer.
Yeah, kind of. It's not edgy or grouchy.
Yeah.
Because like his whole thing, like the one thing he remembers from his past life is that he was worthless and that he didn't care about anyone. So he's seen, and the big part I'm missing there, and he didn't want that like in his second chance, because
that's a pretty common thing with most isekais.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything in their past life, so they want to change that.
Well, and like his thing too is you find out later on at like a certain point, because also when you turn 15, you have to pick a god to become loyal to, and like you pledge like your oath to them.
Yeah.
So you basically become like their champion. His god ends up being basically like a forgotten god. That she's like the goddess that ferries like the dead to new worlds.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So like he can like purge undead and like release them so that they can move on to the next life.
That's cool.
Okay, that's really cool.
So it's like he is like through and through like a paladin.
Yeah.
So far I've really been enjoying it. It's got action, but it's not ultra actiony.
Yeah. That's sweet.
So, and the character I don't find him insufferable.
Yeah.
But he's not super. I like the undead family better, but he's not a bad character.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. It actually sounds really cool, so I have to check it out. Is it a seasonal show that just came out?
Season 1 I think has been out for a while. Season 2 I think just launched, because I seen it in my recommended. That's why I started watching it.
Yeah, it looks like the
Gotcha.
second season, the first episode out, so it's airing.
It kind of takes a D&D turn, because it's like William like discovers this village. The village gets attacked by this elf this half elf that he met earlier.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the half elf and his group attacked that village because their village got attacked by demons. So instead of letting the half elf get executed, he's like, "Oh, I'll hire him on to like take me to the village so I can free his village."
Oh, that's cool. Sweet. I have to check out Frieren?
Faraway Paladin.
Faraway Paladin, but there's also Frieren.
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 French fries.
Yeah,
French fries
fries.
beyond Journey's End.
French fries, tuxedo face, elf lady.
Yes.
Tuxedo cat, elf lady.
She does look like one of those fluffy cats.
And
The ones with like the crimped ears.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
French fries paladin.
I was just talking to Boom and Weez outside of this, but Frieren, or however the heck you say her
French
name,
fries.
French fries.
the anime cat face design, she is the essence of, because she reminds me of a black and white cat with a round face.
Yeah, makes
She has the attitude of one. She has the attitude of my tuxedo cat Mangoon, cold and distant.
Speaking of cold and distant, because it's probably never coming back. What did you guys think of the last episode of Zom 100?
I kind of low key hated it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I liked it. It was
We were
alright.
talking about this before the episode, and you both said you weren't too hyped up on how it.
I love Zom 100.
Yeah.
The way it ended, though, when they're like, "Here's the anti-party," did not feel like Zom 100.
It has to do it well. If it's hard to tell because you don't know
It's
what
like
it's
the
gonna
worst
be like.
spot to be permanently delayed.
Yeah.
Worst spot in the world. Like a better spot would have been the
previous
The
episode,
previous
yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
But like,
I think it's kind of funny that it kind of makes sense. Like that there would be somebody that's like him.
yeah, but
except
down to
evil.
them having a
Yeah, I know.
journal of, like,
It
this
is-
what we're gonna do in the zombie apocalypse.
It is like
well, here's the
ridiculous.
thing: the planning lady did the same.
Yeah.
She has a journal what not to
It's
do.
yeah.
I guess, yeah, but I don't know if Zom 100. I understood the truck stop episode because that was the main character just completely getting rid of past problems. Having these characters, like, it doesn't. I know they're probably just going to be an arc villain.
Well, what are
but
they supposed to do after this?
I don't know. Protect the village. or
I'm guessing
something?
they're
Well,
gonna.
that's not Zom 100 though.
I don't know.
I'm
they have to
guessing it's
go
gonna
do other
be an
things.
arc dealing with this guy, and then it's gonna move on.
Yeah,
I don't feel like
probably.
he's gonna be a long term unless they like convince him not to be a jerk.
That's my guess.
I do kind of wish they set him up a little bit more. I think it would have been interesting if he had like
Well, here's the
seen
thing.
him a couple
He-
times in the
Or
street
like
or
been an
something.
after credit character. Or
I
something.
think
Yeah.
what's supposed to happen, and I'm kind of guessing the rest of the show, is like they introduce him in this episode, the end of this episode. Episode 10 is like all about them and also them doing their scheme that they're about to do.
Yeah.
And then 11 and 12 is like the arc finalization where they beat the seasonal main bad guy or whatever,
Yeah.
or like befriend them. And then season 2 should have or might be them doing more Zom 100 things.
Yeah.
I think the thing too that I didn't like about it too is like I like a good villain or just anarchist, I guess in this case, but at the same time, it seems really stupid to me at this point. We've seen like some people like, yeah, we're gonna use zombies as tools because they don't tire out. But then these people are just like, yeah, we're gonna let the zombies out loose into the valley. That just it's
yeah,
like
that's pretty
such
dumb.
a base grade villain.
Well, what I don't
We'll
like
see what
about
their
it-
plan is.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you guys. I wasn't too hyped up on seeing it. Is just because it follows the same thing as like Walking Dead or like any other zombie show where it's just like, oh yeah, the zombies aren't the problem. They're easy to take care of and they won't ever really kill people unless they're stupid. It's the people you have to worry
Yeah,
about.
and
So I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, make it about the zombies.
Yeah, I
for
was
once.
hoping it was
Yeah.
gonna be like as they progress, they find worse and worse mutations until
Yeah.
like they accidentally stumble on maybe the source or
Well,
something.
did you
Yeah.
notice when they did the flashback to the person in the tunnel? The person that turned first, he didn't go zombie. He like spurted into like,
Yeah.
a zombie.
Yeah.
The zombies are messed up. They have weird things.
So it's like
Yeah.
that's what I was kind of hoping was it would be the storyline of the morons find the monster type thing.
It
Right.
it probably will be eventually. I think this is just gonna be its like arc, just like the truck stop and everything else.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was just also too having the truck stop for I guess who would be the villain. That felt more impactful.
Yeah.
I guess I'm used to like when it's like serious moments in the show are actually pretty impactful versus
I
these-
wouldn't be surprised because the way our main character is going with like feeling inadequate, like with his making his parents happy,
Mhm.
would not be surprised if like in episode 10 the hoodlums release the zombies, but then like all the old folk take care of it like super quickly.
Yeah, that
Like
could-
just take care of it.
That
and
would be
like,
funny.
because our main character is all about being the hero and
That-
stuff like that. And like I could just see his whole town just like, no, go away, zombies.
I
like,
would
bye.
love it if
And then
that
he just
happened.
feels super bad about it.
That would be hilarious.
I'm actually betting that's what's gonna happen if
That
we ever
could
get an
be.
episode 10.
Yeah.
So that's just how the story is going.
It is
right?
definitely depends on how they work it into it, because he was just at the very end, like, this is what's gonna happen next, cliffhanger
Yeah.
type thing.
Also,
so.
too, it kind of bugs me that up until the village, like all of his friend, like is his name Akira?
I
The
don't
main
know his
character?
friends.
Yeah.
Akira Tendo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It kind of bugs me. It's like in all the previous incidents, whenever he gets down or something, like his friends rally around him
Yeah.
and like try to pull him out of it, like even in really extreme ways. And then they get to this, they see he's feeling like crap and like, whatever.
I didn't really get that. They didn't really see each other.
Well, like when he like finally found everyone, so like no one checked to see if he was okay or anything like at that like
Oh,
extent
I get
or
what you're
anything.
saying.
Like
Yeah.
they
Well,
seen he was upset,
Oh,
and then it's just like,
yes.
whatever, he's fine.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see that part. I guess
They might do it more in later episodes.
right.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do.
It was just an
because so far-
unfortunate place to stop.
Yeah, I'm hoping if it does continue that they will kind of address it a little bit because it's like that's not the kind of group that lets things slide.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good middle episode. I think it's a middle of the season episode. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
episode. Like in all reality, it wasn't supposed to be like a banger of an episode. or
Mhm.
anything
yeah,
like
it's
that.
just basically a filler to probably something way better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of depressing to see that they ended right then and there.
I wonder if
but-
the live action movie covers over that.
The live action movie I've seen is terrible.
Yay!
From what I've seen, it's got really really bad reviews.
I would not surprise me because I didn't
Yeah.
even know it existed until people are talking about.
I mean,
the
how
live
would you
action
put
movie."
this into
Oh,
a
it was- it
movie?
was
This
a
is like
mov-
the worst series ever to put in a movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie before it was ever this. That's the
Yes.
thing.
It came out around the same time. It was kind of crazy.
Did it?
Yeah,
Well, it's like a year or something old. It's not. It's pretty.
I think it's
but-
pretty recent.
Is it live action? Is on 100?
Psalm 100 movie, 2023.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right.
Netflix film. August 3rd, 2023.
Oh, dang. The live action movie came out in the middle of this airing.
Yep.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
it came out before. Huh. Okay.
Weird. Alrighty then. That's why I didn't hear anything about it, because nobody liked it.
Yep.
Anything else?
Not for anime, really.
I have some things.
All right, shoot.
First, Goblin Slayer Season 2. I watched the first episode. It's pretty good. None of goblins were slain in the first episode, though.
None.
It's all off screen. They
This is gonna be the worst Goblin Slayer
they
season ever.
go. There's this new character that's kind of annoying, but whatever. It's not bad.
Is it like
it's
when you
Goblin
get that
Slayer.
one new player you really didn't want at your table?
Kind of, yeah. This new person is annoying, and he wants to kill goblins too. And the characters are all still really great. Like, he's all like, I want to kill goblins, and Goblin Slayer's like, you should probably go kill rats, because Goblin Slayers are gonna body you. Goblins are gonna body you. And he's like, no, I want to kill goblins. And then Elf Archer is like, is he your little brother or something? And he's like, no, I only have an older sister. She's like, huh.
That's funny. Wait, didn't his older sister die? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I don't know if she died. Maybe she was just tortured by goblins. Anyways.
Dead on
Pretty
the
sure she's
inside.
dead.
Yeah, she's probably dead.
I
Anyways,
think she's dead.
Goblin Slayer Season 2, pretty good so far. The animation's a little bit different. But
Okay.
it's not bad.
I didn't even know it was coming out. That's how in the loop I am with Goblin Slayer.
I know. And then, okay, I have some wild. So here's my new segment of describing things out of context.
Oh Lord.
Are some of the wild things I've seen. So I finished Vending Machine, and two of the characters that are kind of important, they're not like main characters, but they're like second to the main characters,
Sure.
died. Just straight up, like this big boss showed up and just like grabbed them and just like killed them right in front of everybody.
In Vending Machine.
In Vending
isekai.
Machine Isekai. So
What?
Vending Machine, so the girl that's with the vending machine like fights against the boss guy, and eventually they do enough stuff that he's like impressed that he's like, okay, cool, I'll just leave you alone now, and leaves. So then they run to the people that died. Vending Machine turns into a machine, like a resuscitation machine, shock your heart back.
Defibrillator?
Yeah, it turns into a
Well, that's not
defibrillator.
a vending machine.
And
I mean, I guess it distributes life.
and so they like hook them up, and they end up saving them, which is kind of funny. It is wild that they just died. Like, it wasn't like, oh, here's some medicine. It was just like they straight up died. So that
What?
happens in the end of Vending Machine, and then it goes to then the main girl kisses the vending machine. How sweet.
No, I don't want vending machine philia anime. No.
Vendophilia.
How does
Okay.
that even, I don't even know how that
Here's
Never mind.
the next thing. There is a thing that maybe he can get his body, like, real person back. Like, he might not always
Okay,
be a vending
you know,
machine. He might become a real
What's
person.
he gonna do?
Human
Turn out?
again.
Was he gonna turn into a human cloning machine and just pop himself out or something?
No,
Or-
there's this thing. There's this overarching plot where if they defeat all the Stratum Lords in this dungeon, they will get enough of these coins. And then there's like this thing at the very end of the dungeon where you can put all the coins together and you get like your wish granted.
Oh
It's like
dear God, it's Glyphner.
Holy Grail kind of thing. So if you did that, they're like, hey, you could get you could become human again. And he's like, I don't know if I want to become human. Being vending machine's kind of cool. I don't know if anyone will like me if I'm just a regular human.
What if you're a human with vending machine power?
I know. I was like, if you can wish for anything, just
Craps
wish you
out a
could
can of corn.
just wish you could switch back and forth, so you could just be like, I'm gonna be a human. I'm gonna take the girl on a date, and then you're like, I'm hungry. Turns into a vending machine, vends a bunch of food, just turns back into human.
That
It's like,
brings up
"Oh."
so many questions. So many questions.
Yeah, that's very disturbing. Anyways, the other show I've watched the ending of, which is the most unhinged, insane thing I've ever seen, is JoJo, the final part of JoJo. So I've heard that this final part of JoJo was like the end of the main JoJo arc.
Sure.
After this, the rest of the series are technically in a different universe. They're not in the same like JoJo
Really?
timeline thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's just there's two after this part. But this was like all the main JoJos, like Jonathan, Joseph,
Jotaro.
Jotaro, and then Jotaro's then another one of Jonathan's sons because of an affair,
And then
and then
Jolene,
and then
Julie, whatever her name is.
a JoJo that was Dio's son, and then it was finally
What?
Jolene.
But Dio's not a JoJo.
He stole Jonathan's body.
That doesn't make him a JoJo, though.
I know, this guy wasn't really a JoJo. Part 5 didn't really have a JoJo. His name was Giovanna. Nobody called him JoJo.
That's
Anyways,
stupid.
I didn't love that part. Anyways, this one, so this is another mainline JoJo. This is Jotaro's daughter.
Her name's Jolene, right?
Jolene. Yeah.
Okay.
So at the end of this series, they find this guy wants to find God, find heaven.
Sure.
So Dio, who's like, you know, the crazy person Dio is, talked to this guy a long time ago and was like, here's a bone from my body. Here's this stuff. Here's the situation. You can find heaven if you do these things specifically. Anyways, really bizarre, weird. Dio is a prophet or whatever. I don't know. So
Alrighty then.
at a certain point, his like stand evolves into these other stands, and eventually he gets the power. Every like JoJo villain has the power of time at some point, and it's something to do with time.
Thought that was
He-
Dio's thing.
That was Dio's, but it's every villain's thing.
Oh, okay.
So this guy, except for part 4, no, part 4 had a time thing too. They all had time things. Anyways, this guy has the power to speed up time at the end because of putting all the stuff together in this certain spot, this certain time, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Creating this creature that he like eats or something and then gets his powers and yeah. Anyway, so his stand like evolves to where he just speeds up time. So he speeds up time so much that it destroys the universe and recreates the universe. So that way,
What?
so that way, everyone is back to normal basically because it just all happened again. But this time, everyone has their memories of what happened so they can predict the future a little bit and prepare for it, which is his definition of heaven, I guess.
What?
Is that everyone can kind of see into the future and prepare for it. It's like, he has some line that's like, preparation is heaven or something. I don't know. Really, really bizarre, like, weirdness. Anyways,
When JoJo becomes
He
an
kills-
Evangelion reference.
I guess so.
he kills all of the JoJo characters before this because he has the power of time, so he can go at
Yeah.
instant speed. Like everyone else, time is flowing super fast, and I guess he is in kind of like normal time, so he just like runs up to him, and to them it's like super fast.
Yeah.
So he kills them all because they can't defend against it. Except Jolene helps one kid get away. And so the ones that died, they have like a new version of themselves that gets reincarnated that comes back the second time. But the originals are gone. Everyone else, because of how the stand is still the same person. So only the people that died
Okay.
get erased and new
Gotcha.
people are taking their place. So this one kid is the only one left. He uses another person's stand because of another very weird ability he has with disc that he like puts his disc in his head and he gets the stand of Weeza Reporto, who is super cool and can control weather and also turns people into snails. But we're not going to talk about that because that's a whole nother
Okay.
thing.
What?
Hold up. Why does One Piece make more sense than this?
So
That's what I was
So, anyways, he
thinking.
defeats him with the weather report, but now they're in a new dimension where the JoJos, Jotaro, Jolene, and their like friends are all dead, and there's new versions of them in their place.
You said weather report, and I'm just thinking, no, John, do the weather. What's it like out there? The freaking apocalypse is going on.
And now back to sports.
So yeah, that's how it ends. Is this kid Emporio who had helped Jolene? He had this like weird stand where he could go into this little pocket dimension, and so he could like zip through the prison and stuff and helps people out, help Jolene out a lot. He's the only one that survived. He kills the priest that was doing this, and then it erases the ability to like see into the future that everyone had. But it's still
Good.
in another dimension. So they are in the universe, after the last universe. So they're in a whole new universe, so that's why there must be new JoJos in the new universe, in the new series.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
So in other
I
words,
feel nauseous just thinking about this.
in other
man.
words, what they did,
The
like,
frick?
boss, we're nearing the end. No, this cannot happen.
So
This is literally Evangelion.
yeah.
Like, oh,
It's-
the end of Evangelion. Oh, this is just another timeline.
It's-
It's new
You know what?
Evangelion.
insane.
It does confirm that JoJo is no longer the reference of everything. It is Evangelion. Evangelion is the beginning.
I
and the end.
guess. I don't know what he was
if
thinking.
JoJo is just literally a different timeline of
It's
Evangelion?
it's so ridiculous because
That
like
is crazy.
the main
man.
villain's goal at the end is just like, no, we can be prepared. It's like preparation is heaven. It's like
Prepared for what? You're
like,
the
just,
villain.
just the future. He just wanted everyone to be prepared for the future.
What's gonna
like
happen in the
everyone
future?
can see into the future.
Nothing.
Just whatever your future is going to be. You can
Obviously,
just-
it's gonna end because
like-
he's ending it, right?
like he does that. No, he creates a new universe that where everyone's experienced everything they've already experienced. Like everyone's experienced all of their lives, and then they're back to where they were.
That sounds horrible.
I know it does sound
See,
horrible.
meanwhile,
So these
we
two
go
guys
back
are
to Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like, I got to get them out of this time frame,
The-
otherwise their brains will
the
fry.
only,
Yeah.
the only thing you see of that is like two guards walking. They're like, I feel like we're gonna trip and fall. And it's like, huh? Yeah, I feel like we are too. And then they trip and fall because somebody like pushes through.
That's so weird.
So
This all
then-
takes place in the prison too, doesn't it?
yeah, at the very end, it goes all the way back to the prison.
Jeez, oh Pete.
And then Emporio kills him, and then he finds the fake version of his friends. And it's really sad because it's like, these are the people that I've spent all this time with and I was like doing these things with. And now it's like them, but it's not them. They're like slightly different. They're
I'm
not the
guessing they
same.
don't remember.
So they don't
have-
remember him, but he ends up like joining up with them.
So, like, when you get back from college,
Or somebody from
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
I was gone for 2 days.
It was a lifetime.
so yeah.
I'm old and decrepit now.
I mean, that's not mentioning that weather report like unlocks his full potential, and then you find out the reason his power was sealed away by the main villain is because he has this uncontrollable thing where he makes rainbows. Then anyone that touches it turns into a frog, turns into a snail because of what's that thing called when you subliminal messaging. It subliminally made you think you were a snail, which was so powerful that your body metamorphed into a snail. And that was the reason.
He said
or his
frogs for a
powers.
second. All I could think of was just the
Alex Jones
Alex
bit.
Jones.
Yeah, okay, frogs were earlier because he made poison dart frogs rain from the sky, which I feel like I've mentioned on the podcast.
Oh god, it's from JoJo too, so it's gay frogs.
It was it was pretty wild. I liked it. It was fun. It was really kind of
That's
sad.
literally
ending.
what happens when you write yourself into a corner.
was kind of
Like,
a-
I
That's
don't know
what
I'm
happens
doing
when you take
anymore.
too much LSD and are in Japan and have a pencil in your hand.
Yep. So that was
So wait, Dio wasn't even the final villain?
No,
kind of. Dio is always involved in every single like villain.
but he's not
Thing.
like the end villain.
No, because they defeated him. He got defeated and then he's like gone. But what
He is legitimately Megatron.
what he did while he was alive affected all the rest of the JoJos.
So Megatron.
And I've
Yeah.
heard even in the next parts, Dio is showing up or like involved in some way.
So does Nick.
So he is kind of a side like thing that affects all the rest.
You know, JoJo is one of those things I've heard a lot about it, mainly from Weez, but I heard it way back in like high school, the little bit that I was there. And yet I've never seen it. I've never seen any promo for it. It's like the
Yeah.
most obscure, most popular
It
thing.
very
Yeah.
much is. I watched part one and I
Part-
watched season 1 and 2 technically. So I watched
Yeah.
season 1, all the original Joestar Dio thing. Then I watched the World War II part where there's like the 3 pillar.
That
one.
is the best part.
Those two I actually liked. I really liked the
Those are
story. And
really
then I
cool.
look into like part I guess 3 and like further, and I'm just like it gets too crazy for me.
Part 3, I think the best parts are part 2 and part 4 because they're more self-contained story and they're kind of like have their own little quirks. Part 2 is just the best overall. It's just really funny, really
Yeah.
entertaining. Part 4 is like all in this little town and you see like the town build and grow as things happen around and they fight
Okay.
one guy and then they like, you know, they don't kill him or whatever because they settle their differences and then you just see him around town and like one guy he has this ability and he merges him into a stone, and then which he's trapped there like alive for the rest of eternity, I guess. And every time,
well, until the universe is remade, obviously.
every time they walk by him, they go, he becomes called the Angelo Stone, because the main character just goes, "Yo, Angelo," because Angelo was his name. And so people don't know why, but they're just like, it kind of looks like it has a face, and there's just this guy trapped in the stone.
That's terrifying.
It's so messed up. But like the main character is the only one that knows this, and he's just like, "Yo, Angelo," and then his friend is like, "Okay, yo, Angelo." It just becomes like a thing.
It's kind of funny.
It's a great part.
Huh. I don't know if I'll ever finish JoJo.
Yeah,
I never started it, and I won't finish it.
It's a trip.
It sounds like
I
watched enough trips in my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to maybe someday watching Luffy just like cartoon murder a dragon.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch One Piece. I've set my goal to
Let's
watch
go.
that. I might start at the beginning of next year
Nice.
and just like watch it
Periodically.
Yeah.
throughout the year. Although I'll probably just end up binging it.
I need to
for,
catch
like,
up on
a
the
month and a
manga.
half. Yeah, I don't know. But
Anyways, that's my anime stuff.
so I think we leave the anime corner and go outside across the road to the anime or to
Nerd dump.
So go from the nice bar to the dive.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna stop here and throw up in the trash can.
All right, okay, yeah, I'll be right back. Weez.
Yes.
So you finally did something I've been wanting you to do for a while.
Yeah.
You watched John Wick.
I did watch John Wick.
What'd you think of John
It
Wick?
was a pretty good movie. It was fun.
Yeah.
I really like Keanu Reeves. He's awesome.
I mean, I
He's-
think that's the only reason John Wick's good, but
yeah, pretty much.
it
He's-
definitely isn't the dialogue.
No, there's very little dialogue. There's a lot of like, the first one
It's a lot of show, don't tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little stuff. The world building in John Wick is super cool.
Oh, it's really good.
The
Little details, like the little way like the assassins interact with each other,
Yeah.
the codes and stuff like that.
a lot of the fight scenes are really cool. There's definitely like, so one thing, I watched the first and the second one, and I started a little bit of the third one. I kind of like, the first one's better, but I kind of like both of them equally in their own ways of the
Yeah.
first and second. The second one is very different, but it kind of builds the world. I don't know how else you would do a sequel to the first one without doing something like what they did with the second one, where it just like kind of builds into this much bigger thing, and
Yeah.
and like its history, and it kind of shows to like,
Oh, it gets even crazier in number 3.
he's in
And then number 4 is just like, I don't know what's going on.
he's in such like a, it's kind of like you're an assassin and you want to get out of it, but it's kind of like you've already sold your soul by being an assassin, so
Yeah.
it's always going to pull you back in some way. And so the first time, it's just he lost all hope pretty much because they took all of his hope away, so it's just like vengeance.
Hot
But
take.
then the second
true.
one is like he's just ripped back into the world.
Hot take, controversial take. None of this would have ever happened if his wife didn't give him the dog. His wife is the villain, the ultimate villain.
I mean, you're
She
kind of not
knew
wrong.
he would
Yeah.
slaughter so many people, and she's like, "I'm going to plant the seed,
She-
so when I'm gone, he
She
will."
had heard his stories about
Turns
like
out her wife was just corn.
she heard the stories about like the world that he was in. It's like, wow, these people all deserve to die, and then it's just like, I'm gonna give you a dog. Something's gonna happen to it. He's gonna kill them all.
You know, everybody makes fun of the dog joke.
Yeah,
Like just the thing of like, everybody makes fun of like the dog dies, now he just goes murder people.
yeah.
It's not so much the dog dying.
It's the fact that it was like from someone.
It
was his past life catching up with him, and he was just like, okay, I guess you took the one good thing away from me in my own
Yeah.
life. Like
Yeah.
you've taken everything else. I've given you everything. You take everything
Yeah.
from me. No holds barred.
Yeah.
Like it symbolized, because the dog was like his hope. It was
Yeah.
like his wife was everything to him. That's why he left, and then she dies. So then he has like nothing, and then she's telling him like, continue on, keep living this life, keep pushing
Stay
forward.
on the good side.
Yeah, and so he takes care of the dog. He has something to do. And then they kill his dog, and then it's like, well, I have nothing to do now. You ruined. They basically killed everyone he cared about because all he cared about was his dog. So, and like his wife gave it to him. It's like his biggest remembrance of his wife. So it makes sense to me. It sounds dumb, like when you explain it, but like it's actually a good reasoning.
It's a really simple concept taken to the ultimate extreme.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what makes it good. Actually, like everything is like the ultimate extreme.
Yeah.
Actually, what happens too with that is really the resolve was simple. He killed the kid that killed the dog.
Yeah.
But then because the stupid mob boss couldn't let it go, then it just accelerates from that.
And that's part of the thing too. Of it's just like, let me deal with your stupid son. Then it's like, I have to defend him. And the mob boss knew
that his son was no good. He wasn't even a good mobster.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. Like, if you watch all the way up to episode 4 of it, you realize that everybody in this world is so bound by code.
Yeah.
That they'll do the stupidest things just because it's written in the code.
Yeah.
That's kind of why, like, the mob boss, like, he berates his son and, like, is basically like telling his son, you're gonna die. There's nothing I can do to stop. Like, John, I can't stop the Baba Yaga. But then he realized once he's dead, he's like, well, the code dictates now that I must basically avenge my family.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's this vicious circle. And like, if you go into episode 2, it's just the circle continues.
Yeah.
Episode 3, it continues. And like 4, it just kind of peaks at this insane level of you're just like, how is not everybody in this syndicate, in this like group, just not dead?
Yeah.
It's like every little thing ends up being like a duel or like, oh, you spited me, so I guess you're gonna owe me I don't know, your right thumb or something like that. I'm just like, what the frick?
There is a lot of like I know it's just like action, but there is some like cool storytelling. Like the first one has the girl that tries to assassinate him in that's such a cool scene. The thing, which is not allowed. So then they just like, I was expecting her to come back and be important because it kept focusing on her.
Yeah.
And then she's just like walking to hunt down John Wick or something. And then they're just like, your card has been revoked. And then they just shoot her. And I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So that was cool because it like, there's so many things where they establish rules like that and then just kind of let it slide for the story. But instead they were like, no, this is the rules. If you do this, you just are dead.
Yeah, we're going to follow so you get to see what happens.
That leads to John Wick 2 when he actually executes the guy in the Continental. And then it's like, oh, this is bad. But then it's John Wick. It's so funny too, having a character that's like super overpowered and everyone knows it and everyone's afraid of him. It's the same thing with Ahsoka, where like anytime they were like Ahsoka's on their way, the villains were like, "Oh, this is bad."
See,
like
the crazy thing is John Wick's doing his thing in whatever city he's in, while a simple home business owner guy has to deal with the threat of his family, while Santa is drunk off his butt saving kids. Meanwhile, in the past, probably John Wick's great granddaddy's just trying to mine gold.
I love how all these stupid, I call them stupid, they're really good, but like stupid simple action movies are all becoming like one universe.
I hope they actually are. I hope it's like supposed to be like this insane like action universe, which actually with Cisse, I haven't seen it yet. Ciso. They actually, I guess the whole thing of like Ciso is like, that's an Icelandic like term for like an immortal warrior.
It's basically, it's the word for pure determination.
Well, I guess in like their folklore, there's something. There's actually like a spirit called that. So it's like, if that's like what he's supposed, because he does like some superhuman stuff in that. That would be cool if that's like the whole like running theme through this director's movies.
Yeah.
Or writer or whoever is connected to all of these.
Yeah. But one thing I liked from John Wick 3 that I didn't get as much in the first 2 is everyone is always like, John Wick, he's so powerful. I'm so scared of John Wick. The second one, they're like, the whole world is after him. And he's like, yeah, give him like a 50-50 shot. Like, that's how powerful he is. But when you actually watch him fight, most of the time, it's like grounded, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's also like he grabs a guy and he just kind of like wrestles with him for a minute and then kind of like throws him around and then just like finally gets a shot off. It's like he struggles so much, which is good in the storytelling way. But like in the third one, it starts out and there's this fight with these like Japanese guys or something, and he fights like
oh yeah,
a ninja. Like he's hitting them hard and fast, and it's like an actual like martial arts kind of fight rather than just kind of like grappling them
Yeah.
until he can like slowly stab a knife into them or shoot them or whatever. And it was kind of cool to see like him throwing knives and like just doing really skillful things to see more like, oh, this guy is really like he's good at everything, and that's what makes him so scary.
yeah. Going all the way up to like episode 3 and then episode 4 of the show, it's just they show all those little aspects through each one of those movies, and like episode 3 is definitely like how skilled he actually is.
Yeah.
Episode 4, it's more like just how much damage he can take.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I do like too that they make the wounds matter. Where
Yeah.
It's like he gets stabbed, he has to go to the doctor and
Yeah.
like get it patched up and then take some meds, and then he can like he's got magic pills, that
Basically.
gives him abilities. But it's like it respects that it's like he took damage and they're not just gonna ignore it and be like he got stabbed, but he's fine.
Yeah.
He's also pretty cool in a car, like driving around,
The car scene
shooting
was really
guys
fun.
and running them over. And mostly it's just fun watching the stunt guys, because the
Yeah.
stunt guys are just like, I don't know, this must be the most fun thing. You're basically the star of the movie, of just like running up and having to ragdoll, which is
Yeah. I know.
I'm gonna insert my own thing. I want the creator of all of these to just simply make a Doom.
yeah,
Get the
That-
actor.
Doom would be cool.
that
Get
is
the
how
act-
Doom should be.
Get the actor from Dread.
Yeah.
Put him in a Doom Slayer costume. Get some good effects, a lot of gory practical effects, and just have John Wick in space on Mars fighting hell demons. You have a kick butt soundtrack. It's all you need.
I'd even be happy if just John Wick in space.
Put Keanu in some like red makeup and horns and have him be one of the devils.
But he's already fought the devil once.
He's just a cyber demon.
Just as a nod to John Wick, it would be great.
Yeah. Full beard
Just
and everything.
everyone else is like CGI, like really bizarre creature, and then just Keanu Reeves is some face paint.
Yeah.
Face paint,
Just
no
the
shirt.
face too.
Just the
Everything
face.
else is normal color. Just the face though. Just be like,
And he's got a
"Rawr."
gun.
God. It's Satan with a shotgun.
Satan.
But no, it's like to me.
And it'd
It's
be like, yeah, I'm Satan.
but
die.
twice now they've tried making Doom movies and they flopped. They were horrible. And that's really all you need is just the simple show, don't tell, and tons of good choreographed
Yeah.
action.
The
There's a
only
lot
thing
of-
I'd be worried about with that is like all these other like Nobody, Sisu, John Wick, they're all human to human.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very practical, like choreographed.
Yeah.
Doom is gonna be a CGI fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they do it right,
If they do it right, it'd be great. But it's just
I mean,
it makes me worried that you're not gonna be able to pull off the John Wick
Yeah,
Yeah.
thing. Because
That would
like
be kind of tough.
it's like
I'll wait till AIs replace everyone, then I'll become a director.
yeah, there you go. It'll be fine.
I'll
We'll,
get
we'll be so
robots-
stupid at that
I'll
point we
get
won't
ro-
even care.
I'll build robots and get them to like act, and they can actually rip each other apart for me.
That was a plot to a movie a long time ago in the 2000s. I remember that. Like they'd had like humanoid robots fight in this arena.
Oh, AI.
Was it called AI?
Yeah, where
It had the
it's-
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I love that movie. That movie makes me cry at the end. every time.
Yeah,
It's such a
Anyways,
dark movie.
it is. I remember watching it and just being like, why are these people dying? And then realizing.
Anyways, John Wick, violence.
I do
Yeah.
appreciate a good Jonathan Wick.
Yeah. You know another Jonathan I like,
What?
the Archivist from
Oh,
Magnus Archive.
yeah. Shout out to a great podcast.
His name's Jonathan.
Please pay attention
yeah,
to
the
us.
Archivist's name.
Ah,
Jonathan.
nice.
Magnus Archives. I got you mooks into it, huh?
I'm up to
You
like,
got me into it as soon as I listened to episode 1.
I'm up to like 10, I think.
I think we talked about it.
Ooh,
A
you're only at
little bit.
episode 10. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really early.
We can talk about it without spoiling.
Yeah,
any of
it's
it, but, like-
amazing. I love the way it's done. It's done super
It's
practical.
really
well, okay,
effective.
this is not like our normal thing to talk about.
I
We should
know.
Probably.
Okay, Magnus Archives is, I guess, it would be a horror.
It's
What
a
is it?
horror anthology audio drama
By
with a
Rusty
meta
Quill.
by Rusty Quill with a meta connecting storyline.
Yeah.
So anthology is like they'll read a story each episode,
Mhm.
but then there's tidbits that connect into a long running story.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and the plot is just like this professor guy that works at the supernatural thing, and his
Called the Magnus Archive.
predecessor
Or the
just didn't
Magnus-
organize anything, so he's just annoyed, and he's like,
Yeah.
I gotta read through all these things and figure out where they go, and so just reading through like scary of things that happened.
Oh, sweet summer child. Wait till you get
And at least at the beginning, and
I honestly,
it's really cool.
The first few episodes, not to spoil anything, I thought it was going to be like that kind of horror where it's like, oh, there's could be monsters, but
Yeah.
we'll keep them super vague and you will know nothing.
right,
about them.
exactly.
yeah,
Because especially like the first 10 episodes.
Well, like Anglerfish, the first episode,
yeah,
it's so ambiguous, and they're like, yeah, this probably never happened.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of these.
especially the first couple episodes when they're just when the archivist is just reading like the end of he's like, oh yeah, this could never happen type of thing.
yeah.
Just
It's
like,
just
this is
like this
crazy.
is unlikely.
They're delusional type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like it goes on. I mean, there's 182 episodes. I'm on 130.
I'm
Four.
on 73 because I dropped things. I didn't drop it. I just took a break.
I don't know how
I took a break because I got to 73 in 4 days.
You must have dropped it really quickly because I've been listening to the past 3 weeks, and I've also been bouncing between Archive 81.
4 days.
I get that, but listen to me for a second. I've been listening to Magnus Archive 81, Old Gods of Appalachia, and I've been listening to my normal like.
I've
magic
also been
podcasts.
really busy and just haven't really listened to a lot of podcasts either.
Okay.
I've just basically been flipping on music when I'm at work and just working. I've been
Oh.
running a lot of machinery lately.
Gotcha. Because like at work, I can listen to like 40, 50 episodes of this easily.
Yeah. So it's like I have to pack mine into every time I'm not operating machinery.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's the one downfall of audio dramas.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Our place is like super chill about it as long
Yeah.
as you can still hear and operate functionally and safely.
But you can't understand the
But
audio
you-
drama.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like I'm like wanting to flip it back. I'm like, nope, can't do that.
I had that problem. Like even like I have mostly office work, so I'm typing on this computer, and I'll find myself just sitting at my desk, like hands crossed, just staring out into the distance, listening to my audio drama. I'm just like, I haven't worked in the past 20 minutes. I'm just like, oh
But-
no.
Yeah,
it's-
sometimes I'm listening to it and doing things, and then it's like, wait, what's going on?
It's
And then it's
real-
like they mention something. It's like, okay, I get the gist.
It's-
Yeah, exactly.
It's really good, and not as a spoiler thing, you won't understand this yet, but the voice actor that they got for a character named Michael is terrifying.
Michael haunts my dreams.
That's all we're gonna leave it at. This voice actor, kudos to him. I think it was the producer who did his voice. I think it was.
it? No, is it? No, it's
Is
just
it
a
a totally different voice?
totally different
Kudos
actor.
to that person
Yeah.
because your voice is freaking terrifying.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you gotten to the episode with the unknowing,
I might have. I don't
like
know.
the dolls and mannequins and stuff?
I
no.
think I did, or something
Okay.
similar. to
Anyways,
it.
so to kind of put things in perspective for people, TikTok. There's this whole subgenre in TikTok where these TikTok actors will basically mouth over like show lines and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Magnus Archive was so big that somebody took a tidbit of an episode and they were using it as like a trend for a while. One of like the monsters and stuff people were like using as like an acting thing for TikTok.
jeez.
I was listening to the episode. I'm just like, I've heard this before. And I got thinking about like, I heard this on freaking YouTube shorts and TikTok. Just random ladies like mouth syncing to this like dialogue. I'm just like,
Oh, jeez.
what the frick? I was wondering why when I was watching those shorts, it was so creepy. It's like
But yeah,
this
It's
is weird.
it is a great podcast. I would strongly suggest people run right over and just binge it. They will have another podcast. I don't know when. They just got it funded coming out called the Magnus Protocol.
protocol, which I think is more, instead of like listening to like statements being taken, I think it's more like people investigating things.
Yeah, probably them filing reports and stuff.
Yeah. I know they released a trailer for it, and I need to listen to it.
Yeah, I still have to watch it.
It's probably going to be more like an actual audio drama.
I don't think it'll be like an audio drama. I think it's going to be like, I will explain it later once you get to a certain point.
Yeah, you're on episode 10, so far it's not even a full audio drama yet.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't even got
it evolved.
not to
Okay.
spoil it,
That's
but
what I figured it would.
it goes beyond just statements to where like you'll hear other people, you hear other actors,
Okay.
and you hear other people in the institute and in the real life.
Okay.
Like it goes into other countries and stuff.
Yeah.
It was
That's
so
cool.
weird hearing like a Chinese accent in one of the episodes. I'm just like, I can't understand this. We're saying, oh yeah, it's Chinese.
Yeah, there is some stories there too. That I found myself just kind of spacing out, just like fully just like vested into them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was joking about at work. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get so into them that I just find myself staring out my window, just being like, I should be working right
The
now.
creepiest one to me so far was the woman that exploded into worms.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he burned his house. That was really
Squirm.
effective, where it was just like I kind of vaguely saw something and then I just lit my house on fire.
Yeah.
Now let me explain kind of what I saw. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like the way they do that writing is amazing. And it makes me realize,
I love the fact they use old writing style, basically. Like true, proper, correct writing. Like, and they do it, and it's not bland, it's not dry, it's just
Yeah.
true to itself.
it's super good. And like watching or listening to this, and then I also started listening to another production kind of by Rusty Quill, but it was just kind of like somewhat produced by them,
Mm-hmm.
was Old Gods of Appalachia.
Oh, did they do that too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like at the beginning of the episode, it says produced by Rusty Quill.
That's cool.
Anyways, I realized that like kind of like how anime is so different compared to like other mediums, audio dramas and audio programs like that.
Yeah.
It's like one of the few stories where you can do wild, like
well, you know,
Mhm.
mental stories like that and get away
Writing-
with it.
Yeah.
writing anymore as a whole has changed to where you can do that. You can do crazy stuff with like there's a book. It's considered really the most difficult book to read. It's a horror story. It's called The House of Leaves. It's 3 books. The paragraphs and everything are all in weird things. There's paragraphs within paragraphs. You have to have magnifying glass to help you read the book because it will be like on this side there'll be a thing, and all of a sudden the next page will like spiral into like 3 different books, like their paragraphs running together.
That's wild.
This is a real thing, and it's considered an authentic book because writing is now more acknowledged as an art, so you can be more creative with it. There's not like there's still grammatical rules and everything, but the process of to be a creative writer
Yeah.
is not as stringent anymore.
yeah.
You tell me about that book, and I'm just like, there's no way in hell I'm.
It's
ever gonna
been
be able
known to
read
give
something.
people actual headaches and migraines trying to read it.
Yeah.
It's
I
such
bet.
a deep like it's not only that the writing is so freaking deep that it's like it takes everything to read it. And it's
Yeah, no
already
thanks.
it is like liminal horror on
Yeah.
top of it.
Yeah, that would be beyond me and my dyslexia. That would be-
That's what-
my,
I've
my
thought,
head would
I've
probably
thought of
explode.
getting it just to like have it, and I'm never gonna read it.
Yeah.
But like I've thought of getting it just to be like, yeah, I've got
Has
this.
anybody read it?
Oh yeah, a lot of people have read it. A lot of people try to decipher what the heck it's even
Huh.
actually like means, but it's a fairly newer book. I think it was only written in like the 80s or 90s.
Gotcha.
That's what audio like drama style stuff does so well is like surrounding you with it, especially if you wear headphones. It is
Yeah.
like 100% more creepy if you listen to it with headphones instead of like having it on a speaker.
See, and what Magnus Archives does even better too, it brings back the old school nice crackle of a radio.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like that really sets the tone. There'll be like points where they're pausing between stuff, and it's like that's all you hear is just like.
And they also like speak very clearly in audio productions because you have to understand it, unlike a lot of
Yeah.
movies where they're just it's like
There are some of the voice lines when you get further into it where you're just like, I can't really understand this, but it's very artistically done, like accents and
yeah. And a
other
lot of like
creatures.
bigger production audio stuff.
Yeah.
They all like the way you talk in an audio drama is different than
Yeah.
in a movie or whatever.
even podcast wise and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that,
Mhm. They didn't listen to me. I just scream into the mic all day.
All right. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
When are they going to do a John Wick audio drama? That'd be
All
great.
it
It's
with
just gun. It's just an hour of gun sound.
It's just do stab, 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 break.
just hear a guy. Ugh!
My dog.
John Wick, you're here. John Wick, blah, blah, blah. Dialogue.
Random Russian in the background.
Gunshot walks away. Just,
Oh no, John Wick just snap.
oh no, it's John Wick. John Wick just shot me in the leg.
John Wick's dead.
John
no, wait,
Wick-
he's alive. What?
John Wick just shot me in the head.
I don't know when, but we need that. We need
Yep.
that in our lives. Anyways, thank you for listening to today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did not, I guess I don't know.
Give us a
Review,
like and
bomb us,
subscribe
I
if
don't
you
care.
if you hate us.
Yes. Subscribe, spite.
Leave
Spite
hate.
subscribe.
Yeah,
us.
spite, subscribe us. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
leave hate comments.
But besides for that, you guys know what to do if you like this show. So continue to do that, and we appreciate you all. And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Champion.
Bye.
Mm.